Good evening. It's Wednesday, we're halfway through the week already, and what a quiet week it's been so far. It's like we're in that kind of hangover period from all the nonsense of the manager leaving, getting a new manager, making our first couple of signings, and now we're sitting here with news to come. I'd imagine it's going to be a busy few weeks. Obviously, a little bit slower this week as we head into pre-season. We'll try and report everything on the channel as usual as it comes along. But tonight, I thought, why not we just sit here, talk about everything that's been kind of floating about that isn't, video worthy, you could say. Just have a chat with you guys. Like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. This will obviously be up afterwards as well in video form if you want to look back on anything that you've missed. But it's a pleasure to see a good amount. Over 200 of these already here. Hello to everybody in the chat. Declan, Kieran, just everybody's names pressed on the screen. Don't even know what you're saying. You could be saying anything. And I'm putting it up on the screen. Hello, good evening to all of you. David Hunter. See you in there. Hello, David boy. Celtic are currently playing in their first game of pre-season, that behind closed door friendly. I've seen a few people in the chat saying that it's been cancelled. Does anybody know why it's been cancelled? It's not been cancelled. It got delayed. It was meant to kick off at 5 PM. It ended up kicking off at 6 PM due to crowd concerns. I think a couple hundred people tried to make their way down to watch the game. Some people, not them all, have decided to complain about it, not getting let in to watch. Don't know why. It was a behind closed door friendly. There was never anything. Never anything at all to say that you could get in. People complaining, but the game is going on. A lot of people are wondering what's happening, what's the score and all the rest of it. From my last reading, it was 0-0 at half time. Big changes going into the second half. It's going. The second half has just kicked off moments ago, so it's 0-0 at half time. The team now in the second half is basically the B team. It wasn't exactly the strongest team we were playing in the first place. There's someone on Twitter, shout out to Dave, who is there. He's live streaming the second half, actually. You can go and watch his stream of it if you like. Shout out to Dave, who's watching it over a hedge, actually. So if you want to go and watch somebody's view from behind a hedge and fences and all the rest of it, you can go and check out his stream. But from his reports, this is brilliant. I'm using somebody on Twitter as a fucking source here. He said that the first team, the team for the first half, looked like Hart, Bernabe, Welsh. He had no idea who the other two are. Well, I don't know who Kouassi is. No, he didn't know who the right back was. Rocco Vata, Matt O'Reilly, Timoki Awata, David Turnbull, James Forrest, and that was reportedly the team for the first half, and then sitting for the second half. Apparently, big changes. B team basically out for the second half, but it is a second half just kicking off just now. If you do want to go and watch it, you'll go on Twitter, you'll see people retweeting it and all the rest of it. The second half is up and it's live. It's not a great view. It's not a great resolution either. You'd be better off. People are saying Dave who? He's that desperate to watch it for over a bush. Dave who? Dave that played for Chelsea. If you want it exactly, I'm only saying it once because my God almighty, Dave MC71 at Dave MC71. There you go. You'll be able to go and watch a terrible stream, but I'm sure he's enjoying himself. So good on Dave for giving us the opportunity at least. But it is our first pre-season game. It is underway the second half. It is happening, despite the amount of people in my comments who have decided to turn around and say that it's been cancelled. It's not been cancelled. It's on right now. It's on, but don't expect anything too great. I'd imagine it's going to be quite a bore of a game. It is typically pre-season fashion where we try and get ourselves back into fitness, back into condition to play football. The cameras are away, the crowds are away. It will be a relaxed a game as you like. There'll be no competition really going on in these games. I think that when the cameras are out, when we're over in Japan and then when we're over in Dublin, we'll start to see a little bit more and we'll start to see more of our first team side. But I'll keep you updated if anything happens, if there's any goals in the game as this stream goes on. But yeah, second half has just kicked off. So pre-season's going to be big for Celtic, of course, as we head into a new season with a new manager. And he spoke about how the vigorous pre-season training is underway. It's not going to be easy. He wants the standard to be higher. And I made this point in my video the other day about, I think it was the one I made about Callum McGregor. And I made the point that, when Brendan Rodgers first came into Celtic, there was a very extreme highlight put on the fitness and how we improved their fitness by tenfold. But when he came in, he inherited one of the worst sides in Celtic history in terms of fitness. We were incredibly unfit. There was a lot of players who were kind of trailing themselves along in that period of time without some big competition in the league. People who just went up to scratch to play at the top level when it came to their fitness anyway. And Brendan Rodgers came in and he changed that. He made it elite, and that was a kind of revolution that we started seeing at Celtic. If you remember it, it was huge. We were getting rid of all the fatties, you could say, and we were bringing in people who were fit and who could run 90 minutes every 3 days, and it was a real revolution in the fitness front of things. This time, Brendan Rodgers is coming in and he's inheriting one of the fittest sides in Celtic history, but he wants to make it better. He thinks there's still room for improvement. So I think that's massive for us. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes forward into the next season, next campaign, and hopefully we'll see the start of that in these televised friendly games, which will be coming over the next few weeks. Of course, today the big announcement that Celtic will be playing Wolves in Dublin. The tickets for that go on sale tomorrow morning. I see people already ask me, Pierce, for example, am I going to the Wolves game? I'm not. I won't be there because if you've kept up with me in the channel, I won't be here. I won't be in Dublin. I won't be in Scotland. I'll be in Belgium for the F1. I'll be at the Grand Prix over in Spa. So I won't be in Dublin watching the Wolves game. Sadly, I would have loved to finally go over to Ireland for an excuse to go and watch Celtic, but I will not be there. So I hope a lot of you get your tickets and all the rest of it. That'll be great. But some big games, of course. We've got some good competition in these games. It'll be good to bring our legs up to speed. We're very quickly approaching the first game of the season. You know, I think that's one thing that you always forget at this sort of time of the year, how close you actually are to the first ball being kicked. We're so close. It's less than a month now until the Premiership opener. I think it's on that weekend of the 5th of August. I think that's the first game of the season when we raise the flag. Same day as SummerSlam, I believe. That's how I'm trying to remember things in my head right now. It's a wrestling calendar, not a football calendar. It's the summer. So it'll be a big weekend. But it's very, very quickly approaching. And we'll be there before you know it. So that game has been announced. Pre-season is underway. We're 0-0 as it currently stands against Portimonense. I think that's how you say it, Portimonense. I think so. They're from Portimao in Portugal. I know that. So 0-0. People are giving this guy Dave pelters in the chat. Hope Dave doesn't watch the channel. I hope he doesn't come back to watch this. Look at this. Dave should invest in the drone. Absolute waste of space watching his stream. Poor guy's just decided to take a walk down to the stadium and see if we can get a view. And he's streaming it for everybody else's leisure and he's getting absolute pelters. Do you know what? Fair enough. But it's currently 0-0. I'm trying to refresh Twitter to see if there's any goal updates for you. But we're going to talk about a few things and then I want to get into all your thoughts, all your questions. As we wait for news to come out. When will the transfer news start rolling? Let's have a look at something that came out today. It's one of these stories which... there's not even a point in talking about it, right? But I wanted it was on the thumbnail. It was one of the only talking points for today. I'm going to bring it up now on screen for you. This was one of the stories that was brought by the Daily Record this morning about the Brazilian player Tete, who has recently just quit Shakhtar Donetsk, obviously caught up in the whole war thing that's going on over in Russia and Ukraine right now. And his contract is being torn up at Shakhtar as he exits the club. Now, he spent some time on loan at Leicester City when Brendan Rodgers signed him last season, and he's caught a lot of eyes in football, put it that way. But the Record put out this story this morning saying that he's been put on transfer alert for Celtic, and Brendan Rodgers is a strong favourite to sign him, reluctantly leaving Ukraine, plenty of options in Europe, and because of this whole thing that's happening with Brendan Rodgers being our manager, suddenly that makes Celtic the favourites to sign him. Listen, let's just start off by saying something very quickly. I would kill to have a player of Tete's quality. He looks like a very, very good footballer. He looks fast. He looks like someone who would have fitted into the Ange Postecoglou system very, very nicely, put it that way. And he's someone who obviously has worked with Brendan Rodgers at Leicester City. Now, things obviously didn't go too well at Leicester last season, to say that he kind of got everything out of the player and out of that opportunity, because if they were playing their best, who knows how good they could have been. But the thought of him coming to somewhere like Celtic is pretty massive, if that was even a possibility. However, I don't know what his reported wages are at Shakhtar. I imagine he's on a decent bit of money. and all that kind of jazz. And I imagine there'll be a lot of teams after his spell at Leicester. I think he had a spell at Lyon as well. There was somewhere else he was. But after these kind of loan spells, he's someone who's probably getting looked at by a number of European sides. And the question is, are Celtic ready to go and compete with these European sides to kind of get the signature? I would say no. And this is the start of it now. You know, this is the whole point of why I want to talk about Tete. I don't want to talk about him because I'm like, oh, Celtic have a serious chance of signing them, yada yada. I'm not getting into all that because I don't think we will. I don't think we're anywhere close to signing someone like him. But what I will say is, it's the start of these names being thrown out there. And it was the same earlier in the week. Earlier in the week, we were getting linked with Manchester United's Donny van de Beek. And I love Donny van de Beek. I think he'd be a great player for Celtic. I would love to see him at Celtic. He's been very unlucky at Manchester United. But players like him and Tete are not going to be at Celtic anytime soon. Yeah, we're trying to get better. We're trying to make bigger signings. But there is a line on realism and fantasy that Celtic know quite well. And Celtic fans should know quite well. And I feel like players like Tete and Donny van de Beek kind of lie in that same element. I just don't see it happening. These are guys who have ceilings in the game that probably in their own ambitions lie above Celtic. It's a sad place that where we lie in. I see somebody making a point there. How can Shakhtar sign him but we can't? You know, got to remember, at the point in time when he went to Shakhtar Donetsk, Shakhtar are a team who have a lot of money. You know, they aren't exactly an attractive team in the division they play in and all that kind of jazz. But you've seen the quality of player they've signed over the last few years and the players that they've had at their team. Yeah, they've had a bit of dross in there, but they're certainly better at attracting, you know, big players. You know, they've had players like Fred, Mudryk, these guys who are Premier League ready talent. That seems to be a more, and this isn't me saying it should be like this or this isn't how I want to be, but it does seem like Shakhtar back before everything kicked off with Russia was evidently a better place for players to go if they wanted that next step. It seems like it's more attractive. Like Shakhtar, people are saying, you know, how can Shakhtar sign them and we can't? Listen, up until the last couple of years, Shakhtar are a side who could challenge in Europe, and that's one thing Celtic can't do. We can't run a knockout game. But Shakhtar have, you know, made it to European. They made it to a final in the last decade or so, didn't they? I'm sure they were close to a final anyway. Europa League, I'm sure. You know, they can do that, and Celtic can't, and that's the difference. Now, Celtic need to get to that stage, but by getting to that stage, they need to, you know, work there. They don't just jump right to it. I think it's one of these ones you're going to see a lot of names pulled out the paper. Donny van de Beek, Tete, guys like that, to get our hopes up, to get us clicking, to get us talking about it, and ultimately they're probably not going to happen. But if anything more comes out, if anything in concrete seems to come out, then I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it more. That's the thing I've always done in this channel. I don't make transfer talk videos without there actually being, you know, more substance there. But some random source coming out and saying, oh, Celtic are favourites to sign him because of Brendan Rodgers' past with him, that's nothing credible. That's nothing to say that, like, yeah, it's happening. You've got to wait for more than that. There has to be a bigger and a more final sort of approach. And that isn't that. So, aye. Just, you know, trust me. I've got my degree now. Ian Fleming, thank you for your £5. I appreciate that, my man. It's good to see you as always. He says, I don't think he was that good at Leicester, Ryan, but I'm surprised he has been linked with us. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Leicester had a great campaign last season, did they? So, yeah. Is the Yang Hyun-Jun deal going through? It's went quiet. It's went quiet on the Korean front, hasn't it? We've not heard anything from the reports in the K-League. We've not had anything from himself after he was very vocal about a move. It's all kind of went quiet. The last update that we got was apparently that Gangwon were going to allow him to leave, and they were going to reevaluate their stance on him being a Gangwon player this season and let him go in the summer transfer window. But it's all went quiet. There's nothing out there to suggest that the move is in motion yet. So yeah, aye, we're going to have to just wait and see. But that's, you know, in terms of, you know, stories, I'm going to get into just taking your questions for the last sort of 10-15 minutes of this stream and just talking to you guys. But in regards to stories, in regards to things that happen, that's about it right now. It's been very quiet as we've took off and jetted off to Portugal. We'll be going to Japan very, very soon. But, you know, there's nothing actually happening. And it could be a good thing. Let's surprise ourselves with announcements. Let's not have these long, drawn-out ones. Let's hope they're keeping their business under wraps and they're just getting things done quietly and quickly. We obviously do need to make signings, which is what we need to wait and be patient for. But they will come. But it's not like I've seen people panicking because there's no rumours going about. If anything, I think a world without rumours is better. I don't know about you guys. And look, listen, rumours are good for me, from my selfish point of view. I like a rumour. I can come on, make a video, talk about players, yada yada. But, you know, all this nonsense, it can get tiresome, it can get tedious. And without it, you know, just going about our business and doing things, you know, quickly and quietly, I like it. I think a world without rumours is actually better. I've got a really itchy nose. But aye. Anyway, thank you to Jaden Coyle for your $1.99, and thank you to Hacky for the £5. I really appreciate that. Saying, my God, so itchy. It's because it's so warm up here. Do you think Celtic will get somewhere in Europe under Rodgers in his second spell in charge? We'll see what the recruitment is like, and then we'll start talking about it. But yeah, I think so. He wouldn't come back without true belief deep down that you know, he could or whatnot. Looking for updates in the game. A lot of people in the chat still saying it's 0-0. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, by the looks of it, I think that it's still 0-0. That stream on Twitter is still going. No, it's done. It's done. The stream's finished, but it's still 0-0. And it'll probably end 0-0 as well. It doesn't look like it's too much of an entertaining game over there. But the stream is finished for anybody who might have been checking that out. But yeah, B team out on the park, still 0-0 in our first pre-season game of the season. We will do pre-season watch-alongs this summer. I like doing them. You know, it's the only time I'll ever do watch-alongs, when it's a game that doesn't matter and I don't need to kid on. I'm over the top with my reactions. So, yeah, when there's the televised ones, we will do them. But let's get your guys' thoughts, your guys' questions. Let's talk about Celtic. There's over 600 people here. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for the donation so far. Thank you for the love. If you haven't, press the like button. Do that before we get into questions. Go down. Press it. Like. Go on. Waiting. You done it yet? Good. Right, let's get into your thoughts. Let's get things that you want to say. Martin, first in, saying Rodgers will look at the team and find out what he needs. Hope a solid midfielder and some height in the team. That's one thing that a lot of people as well are forgetting, you know, in regards to people who are getting in and panicking straight away. Like, people are getting in panicking, are like, oh, there's no rumours, we're not talking about any players. Rodgers has been in the door 2 minutes. He's not even had a really good look at the team in training. You know, training only started back this week. Full team training anyway. He needs to identify what he needs, what he wants, who he likes, who he doesn't like. Then we'll probably get a bit more. I'd imagine next week things will start getting cooking if you want names, if you want rumours, if you want stuff like that. But Martin, I think it's a very good point. Thank you. I appreciate it. We've got to see Ryan Foxness maybe raising the wages by offering new contracts to offer get players on higher wages. I've seen a lot of theorising about that. I would say it's realistic. It's something that I think it's hard to look into. We don't know the exact numbers that players are getting, but it's a very good enough theory, I suppose. Garden Shed Girl. It's not a Celtic question, but I saw you like Max Caster's tweet. Are you going to AEW in Wembley? Who's your favourite in AEW? Mine's MGF. I'm going to AEW in Wembley. I'll be there. I've got my tickets. I'll be down there at the end of August. First time I'll ever be in Wembley. Love Max Caster. My favourite in AEW is a boring answer, but CM Punk is my favourite all time. So I mean, I've got to say Punk. I love a good old wrestling question. Got to get them in there. Thank you. Let's see. CCV. Yeah, that was one of the stories that came out over the last week or so. Cameron Carter-Vickers is recovering well from his surgery, from his injury, and he's aiming a return for the start of the season. So that's good. I think that it would be ambitious to say that he'll be right back in the team for the full intensity, 90 minutes, the whole shebang for the first game. But then again, we don't see him in training, so we'll have to just wait and see how the updates come from the manager over the next few weeks. I'm supposing that we'll hear after every game how close he might be to return, but the quicker he's back, the better. Also a position that I would like to see Celtic touch in on. I'd like more depth in the centre-half area, just because I'm not entirely confident of the depth that we have lying behind the starting two. But it'll be good to get him back as soon as possible. I would absolutely love that. Kean asking 3 players who I think could go to the next level under. God, it's a lot of questions. I'm going to have to scroll down the chat, and if you want me to get them in, then just chuck them in, right? Just keep spamming me. 3 players: Matt O'Reilly, number 1. Sead Haksabanovic, number 2. And number 3, he's already quality, but Alistair Johnston. That's the 3 that I would say are going to hit the next level. Off the top of my head, that's the 3 that I'm going for. O'Reilly, Haxa, Johnston. even though Johnson's already quality. You know what I mean? So Mike's raised a good point about Jota. What's all the shite about the Jota deal being questioned? Okay, the deal. Let me clarify this for people who don't know. The deal isn't in question. Celtic have got their money. Jota's away. Jota's joined the Saudi Arabian outfit Al Ittihad, right? He's gone. Celtic have got their money. There's nothing. Celtic aren't losing any money or that. But I have seen people being confused over the whole situation. Reportedly, Al Ittihad might be in a bit of bother with registration issues, which means there might be a possibility. I don't think it will happen. I think they'll sort it out. But there's a possibility that Jota might not be able to get registered for the new campaign in Saudi Arabia. That's the problem right now over there. It's nothing to do with Celtic. Celtic's business is done with all of that. Jota, I mean, God, imagine Jota signed for them and didn't get registered, and they had to like loan him out. I've seen people tweeting me like, "Oh, is there a possible return for Jota? A loan move on the cards?" I mean, never say never, but I don't get your hopes up. I'm sure they'll sort it. It is obviously just kind of all piling in at the one time in the Saudi Arabian League right now, so it's probably getting a bit difficult for these sides to manage it all and look at it when they're just throwing money around. They'll sort it. Jota's not going to be coming back in a loan deal or anything like that. But at least, you know, Celtic's business is done with it. You know, they've made their money. It's time for us to move on. God, a lot of comments piling in. Wow, I need to like just keep scrolling down. Okay, good. Well, I say good question. I'm going to answer it. Craig White's legend says, with Kyogo Maeda and Kalmak getting extensions, does that mean Hatate is off? Surely, as one of our best players, he would be a candidate for an extension unless he's leaving. I've said the same thing to everybody that's asked me, and I'll repeat it again now in regards to the contracts. People keep saying, "Oh, hopefully Hatate next," and I've said Hatate won't get one. Hatate's not going to take a contract. And this is why, you know, Celtic might sit down and try and talk to him, and maybe if the right deal's on the table, who knows, maybe he would sign a contract. I don't think Ryan away. Hello. I'm back. God, sorry about that, lads. I pressed a button on my mouse and it knocked me off. I don't think it means he's off, and I don't think he's got to get a new contract either. I think that the whole thing is, right, Kyogo, McGregor, Maeda, who wanted them? Nobody. Was there serious interest? Nobody. Was it easy to get them a contract, extend them and keep them here? Yes. Hatate, a lot of interest. He's kind of breaking barriers. He's being kind of looked at around the world. He's getting a lot of plaudits. Him and his agent know that. Whereas, it's not the same for Kyogo, who's a little bit older, Maeda, who's not got the same kind of technical ability and all the rest of it, and Cal McGregor, who's here for good. There comes a point where the agent sits down with the player and goes, right, well, in the next couple of years, there's a serious chance of a move for you, and they're going to keep their options open. I don't think he's off. It could be off, who knows. I don't think he's off, and I don't think he's getting a new contract. I think he's going to run on the contract he's on, and over the next year or so, more rumours will start, more teams will be interested, and eventually, he will leave. But he'll do that without signing a new contract. That's my thinking behind it. If he was to leave this summer, I wouldn't be stunned. I wouldn't be, startled or anything. That, it's going to happen. But, aye. Yeah, I vanished. I know, sorry lads, I disappeared very, very bluntly there. It was because on the side of my mouse, there's like a back button, and it's very technical. It's very technical, but don't worry. YouTube's not trying to censor me or anything like that. Not as far as I'm aware. Not yet. Not yet, anyway. Let's see. Fortune, they are not rumours, are they? I mean, that was like the first thing that happened when Rodgers came out. Oh, indeed he. And I've not seen anything since. And it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. Yeah. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Any updates from old Dave? I love how Dave's became our correspondent for the friendly. No, nothing else has been said, I don't think, in regards to the friendly game. I don't think there's been any goals yet. I think it'll finish a 0-0, boys, not gonna lie. I think there must be like 20 minutes left in that game, because I think I went live just as the second half was kicking off. So there must be about 20 minutes to go, still 0-0. Yeah. Let's see. Let's get a couple more questions before I go away. Before I vanish. If you've got anything that you would like to desperately ask, then go ahead. I keep seeing this from Ian. WWE or AEW? I'm a WWE man. I do like AEW, but I'm a WWE man through and through. Always will be. I just prefer the presentation of the product and the people on the product. So I'm a WWE man. My God, this nose it's so itchy. It's so itchy, and it's not a good look rubbing your nose all the time. But trust me, it's just itchy. That's all. Let's see. I want good questions. I want a good question. Brutal Celtic. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised they're not televising it. Probably a lot of effort for them to whip all the equipment over to Portugal for the quality the game was going to be, and for the warm up session. It's a glorified warm up, isn't it, Oren? But yeah, it's a gut that there is like no way of watching it. I thought that maybe Portimonense being from there would have maybe set up something, but obviously not. As I said, glorified warm-up session. That's one thing I hate about friendly. I hate friendlies, right? Hate them because I guarantee you, right, if we go next week and we play, who do we play over in? We play Yokohama, don't we? If we play Yokohama and we draw one each, people are, oh, God, we're in trouble. No. That's what it's going to be. And I can't be bothered with it. I hate it. Friendlies mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. So aye. Oh, thank you for the donation. Buy yourself a Mars bar in Belgium. Thank you. Thank you, Celtic Glasgow. The Belgian chocolate shall be good, I suppose. Thank you for the donation. I really do appreciate it. Is it not a little panicky that we haven't signed anyone Rodgers wants? No. He's I'll touch on the point, Stephen. I want to try and I want to see Rodgers signings as well, right? And it's easy to get impatient during a transfer window when you really want stuff to happen. But he's been in the door, what, a week and a half or something now. Like officially, like I know he signed the contract and he was Celtic manager, but he's actually been at the office in the door for like a week and a half, and training only started on Monday. He needs time to identify what he needs. That'll happen over the next couple of weeks. Transfer window doesn't shut until the end of August. We have time. Don't panic. It's not panicky yet. And listen, also another reason why it's not panicky, we've not like downgraded. We've arguably got a better manager, and we've only lost one big player in Jota. I know Aaron Moy was a bit of a miss, but come on, let's be real. Like, it wasn't it wasn't like end of the world losing Aaron Moy. Jota, big miss. We need to replace him. But it'd be different if it was like, Hatate left, Jota left, Vickers left, Starfelt left. If all these and Kyogo left, imagine all that happened. Then you'd be like, okay, panic, we need to replace these guys. But we've only lost Jota, and we will replace him, so we'll be fine. So yeah, just have patience. I urge patience upon you all. But I'm going to wrap it up there for this evening. Nearly 700 live viewers, by the way. That's absolutely mad. I'll try and get one quick update on the game. I keep talking about the game being the game hasn't been cancelled, has it? Like, oh, thank you, Robert. Right before we go off there, thank you. It's still 0-0, and will the next friendly be on the telly? Thank you for the £10 first of all. The next friendlies will be televised. They won't be on the telly, but they'll be televised. There'll be streams to watch them. I believe our next friendly will be Yokohama on the 19th of July. At 11 o'clock. No, sorry. Yeah, 11 o'clock. Well, that's what Google are advertising 11 o'clock. I don't know if the time's right. That'll be on somewhere. We'll be able to watch it. We're streamed. So you'll be able to watch that, Robert. It is apparently still 0-0. I'm still seeing a lot of people talking about the game being cancelled. Like, unless they decided to chuck it 70 minutes in, I don't think it's being cancelled. I think it's. But then I did read something about like 2 games against Portimonense. So I don't know if maybe they've like shortened the games. Not full 90 minutes, I don't know, but as far as I'm aware, it's still 0-0. And thank you as well to Celtic Glasgow for another £2 saying, just seen you when Rodgers left, you look so much different. Aye, when Rodgers, yeah, it's quite a jump scare going back and looking. Yeah, I thought that earlier, I read something. So, I mean, maybe there's a chance this game has been shortened, but apparently, yeah, we play Portimonense again on Saturday, but that once again won't be televised. I read something about that. But the next actual friendly, Yokohama on the 19th, which we'll be able to watch, and I'll be here for it. We'll be here. I'll be streaming or something. But aye, that'll do it for tonight. Right, pre-season's underway, ladies and gents. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.